Hi, friends. Host Eric here. Host Talking with Famous People. I want to talk about MBTI, socionics, cognitive functions, and the confluence of those things and what I think about the thing. So, first of all, let me say I do not position myself as somebody who is well studied in any formal capacity on any of this stuff. I do position myself as somebody who is very experienced in talking about it, hearing other people talk about it, and thinking about it. This is my conclusion. Luna here came today and suggested that she's having some compatibility issues in her head with socionics and MBTI, and she's not sure it's messing up her TI, yada yada yada. And I totally get that because I think the problem is she's positioning it as, well, one of these models is correct. The answer is none of these models is correct. They're all mush. It's all mush. It's very useful mush, though, and it's representative of something that is concrete and point outable and referenceable in the actual world. But the taxonomy is okay, Luna, you don't think that. Fine. My mistake. I apologize for ascribing to you that position that you did not state. I agree you did not state that position. My bad. I was wrong in ascribing it to you. What was I saying? Oh, so this is how I understand the whole thing. Perception occurs, first and foremost, physically. Stuff comes into your eyes, stuff comes into your ears, stuff comes into your smells, stuff comes onto your skin, feelings come onto your skin, whatever. Shit happens, basically. And you have physical tools to process that shit. Now, after that physical perception occurs, cognition grabs hold of the data. Once cognition grabs hold of the data, it is going to put it into one of two category of things. First and foremost, as a default, it's going to put that data into an area of experience, or it's going to put that data into an area of meaning making. If it's an area of experience, it's an S first. If it's an area of meaning making, it's an N first. Now, Luna was saying that according to socionics, perception's already occurred by the time it gets to the perceiving functions. Well, I don't think anybody, including MBTI or anybody else, doesn't understand that there's a clear distinction between physical perception and cognitive perception. That seems self-evident. Okay, so moving forward from that, there's this issue of judgment and perception and intuition and whatnot. Well, all these functions are really manners of attention. That's the best possible name I've ever read or heard from. I read it, I think, on a socionics site when somebody said, well, really what these are manners of attention. That's what they should be called. They're manners of attention. So if you are dealing with cognitive data coming in first with a perceiving function, that means after it's been physically perceived, you take it and either experience it or you take it and you make meaning out of it. If you are a judger first, it means you take that physically perceived information and you determine whether you want to perceive it further or not. And you do that first. And then after you determine whether or not you want to perceive it further, it goes to your perception function. That's why it's possible to have a judging function first, because obviously there's a layer of physical perception that occurs prior to cognitive perception. And I guess it needed to be stated explicitly because maybe that wasn't explicit. So there's another thing that's been said right now by, I just saw it pop up, I think it was probably Luna. She says, MBTI TE is very socionics SE, and socionics TI is very MBTI TE. Um, okay, well, I mean, here's the thing about it. Those kind of distinctions are, I would say that no matter what model you prefer as your base model, and for me, I'd say it's just Eric's mishmash of whatever. But the reason it's Eric's mishmash of whatever is because it's the most precise way to line it up. For me, it's ergonomic in the sense that I understand TE as including explanatory stuff like this, being organized in your speaking, not rambling on. If you see some ENFP videos, you might see an individual who is unable to constrain the NE in a logical fashion, as hopefully I'm able to do here. Even though I'm freestyling this, it's hopefully reasonably well organized so that I'm conveying information to you and not just rambling on to tangents. So to me, that equality of TE is where TE and TI merge, basically. In TI, I have to go through all the conditionality webs. In TE, I've got to lay it out in an organized fashion for other people to understand it. So some people might say that taking charge in directive quality of explanation versus thinking about something is in fact an SE kind of assertiveness or directive quality. But I would say it's misunderstanding SE to think that there's a lot of SE involved in that process right there. Because ultimately my goal is to make myself understood, not to provoke action. And even if it were to provoke action, SE, in my opinion, SE, you can't understand it without also understanding NI. So NI comes first. If you're on an SE NI axis, NI comes first, regardless of whether it's fourth or first or somewhere in between. And the reason it has to be that way is because NI is the pre-creation thing. It's like it happens. It's the thing that you know that causes you to reflexively move out of the way real quick. That NI comes from. It's the pre-understanding, and then NE is the post-understanding. SE is the experience. SI is the cataloging. So this is how it makes most sense for me. You might say, well, that's not how this model does, or that's not how this model does, or what about this, or what about that? But like I said, these things are taxonomies that can only be ergonomically shaped to your own experience. You can't expect it to be descriptive of the world in the way that we want it to be because different people are going to express all these manners of attention with different prioritizations. So if I am expressing SI, how I express it is going to depend on who I am, how I live, yada yada yada. So my ex-wife may have expressed SI through a lot of decorations and shit like that. That doesn't mean I'm going to express SI through a lot of decorations and shit. I'm a little concerned about Clint. Now that he's left, apparently, he was talking some suicide talk. I don't know if I responded well to it or not. Probably not. God damn it. Why does this shit happen to me? It's so annoying. I have no other way to say it but that. God damn it. And I fucked up this video too.